Hello and welcome back to Jacqueline Marie's Art. I just wanted to say that if you guys are enjoying the videos, can you please like, subscribe, and share? And also leave your comments because I would love to hear what you guys think. And if I get a chance, I will try my best to respond to everyone. Okay? All right, so this video, I'm gonna title it Fornication Nightmares Series 1, Women's Edition. There's also going to be a men's edition too. So, but this one is women's edition because I'm seeing that there is so many nightmares out there birthed out of this destructive thing called fornication, which is sex out of marriage. All right, so let's get into this. There was a lady, she went on vacation to a tropical island, one of the popular ones, and she said that she had not had sex for at least, it could have been about 5 years. So she was celibate for at least 5 years, and she was saying that before that, she was in a relationship where she was really badly hurt, and that she was hurt so badly that she decided to not deal with men at all. She stopped sleeping with them. She just took time to work on herself. And from the sound of how she described her current life, she was doing really well for herself financially because she just put all that energy, and frustration into building up her life. I think her life was pretty decent before that, but it got even better, like financially. She had like, I guess, she'd acquired like two houses and she sold one, and she had another one that was she didn't owe that much on it, and she was just doing pretty good. It sounded like she was doing well for herself financially. She took a really bad blow from a relationship. She didn't go much into it, but prior to the, that led her into being celibate for 5 years. And she said that she got some really deep wounds from this relationship. you know, um, it was so bad that she probably wanted to give up on relationships altogether. But that's kind of hard to do, even though you're hurt, you're still gonna be attracted to the opposite sex. And eventually, like she gave herself time, you could, begin to heal with the process of time. And then, you'll see somebody else later down the line and you'll want to try again. So I don't really believe in people say, "Oh, I'll never date again. I'll just never be with somebody." That's really hard because over a period of time, we slowly start to get over these things and then we desire to be with somebody again. So fast forward to the current, she's celibate 5 years in. She worked on herself. Her life is going well. She's doing well for herself financially. So she goes on vacation, and while she's out on vacation, she meets a guy. Um, and I'm sure the guy that she met in this current place, I'm almost certain that he had somebody. She probably just didn't inquire enough. She didn't like wait, give it time. Whatever the case may be, she didn't find out, the necessary things that she needed to find out. Like, let's say, does the guy have a significant other? Because most men that you meet, I believe, especially if the person is black, and these are black people we're talking about, the guy, if he's black, there's a 99% chance that he's going to have someone. Like I said before, black men are highly desirable by everybody. So it's very rare that I ever see them being single. All right. So not that it don't happen, but if they have any semblance of attractiveness to them, and they're gonna have somebody. It's just the way it is. So if you meet a guy, you just want to find out, is the guy available? Am I picking up with somebody else's man? So that was just my assumption, that I'm just gonna say that the guy had somebody. All right. So I mean, I assumed this way before she got into that part. So anyway, she goes on vacation. She sees the guy, I guess, did she fall for him right away? I don't think so. I think she went back a few times to where, because how did she see him? She met him at his place of work. She went there and she saw him at his place of work. And I think she went back maybe once or twice. And then, okay, after that, from his pursuit, she finally gave in and she realized, wow, I really do like this guy. And the head over heels thing came, and he picked her up and they went out on a date. And she said, the first night she's doing things that she never would normally do. She was having sex with him in his car. I think the thing she's saying that she would not normally do is have sex with the guy in his car, because I just believe that, she's a fornicator. So this is something she would do normally, fornicate, because this is just the way that relationships progress. We meet and we have sex after a few dates. That's not to say that, she's a bad lady, or I'm not knocking her. That's what I'm really saying. So I believe she's just saying that, I would normally sleep with a man in his car. I believe she would normally fornicate because that's just how people do it. So, okay, so she's sleeping with him the first night in his car. And, I believe from the way she described this whole thing, he blew her mind. So, every day he picked her up and he was with her every day, and they did their thing every day. And keep in mind that sex is a bonding tool. It bonds you to people, usually the incorrect person, because most of us are with people that we're never going to marry. We're going to break up and go on to be with someone else. So here is where she went wrong. I believe that she went wrong. First of all, there is a huge ignorance around fornication. There is a huge ignorance from men and women alike around the detriments or the dark side of sex out of marriage. Sex out of marriage is a glue, or sex, I should say, is a glue. That's why it is so important in marriage to have this glue, because it keeps you glued to the right person, and it allows you to have sex with the right person regularly. Taken outside of the confines and the context of marriage, it is like a fire that could get out of hand. And we all know how fire operates when it gets out of hand. It is destructive. It's a destructive force. So since she is operating under the spirit of fornication like she's used to doing, she ended up sleeping with this guy for like pretty much the whole time she was on vacation. So keep in mind, fornication, which is sex out of marriage, also clouds one judgment. Women are really weak in this concept. They have a harder time handling the spirit of fornication than men do. I'm not saying men are not damaged behind this, because they are totally damaged behind it, but I'm saying this spirit takes women down in a different way. It turns them sometimes into complete fools. It have women doing things for men that they are not supposed to be doing, like taking care of them, financially supporting them, overlooking a lot of red flags, giving the man more than you're giving yourself, putting the man first instead of putting yourself first. What else? Giving a man babies, without a marriage. I mean, if you get pregnant, by all means, ladies, please, I encourage you to have your children, okay? Because I do not support abortion on this channel, because I already know that abortion is murder. It's the ending of an innocent soul, okay? So please, let me just get that out the way. All right, so, you're at his beck and call. You're bending over backwards for him. You're doing all the things you're not supposed to be doing. You're giving him more than he's giving you. When this progress like this, he sits back and he becomes the taker. Because by nature, how it's designed, the man is supposed to be the giver and you the receiver. But once you start off in the fornication road, the roles unfortunately sometimes get turned on the women, where they become in the man's role and the man just sit back and take, and then the man eventually loses interest in doing anything for you or wanting to put in the necessary energy or effort that he needs to put in to pursue you, and get your hand in marriage, then have you sexually. So she did all of this, and then she went back home, to her wherever she came from before she went on her vacation. And then, the guy starts asking her for money, because she went to a third world country. So, okay, she helps him out. I mean, if you have a boyfriend in a third world country, I can understand helping out. Sometimes I don't encourage women financially supporting men because it's a role reversal and it could backfire heavily on you. But if he's in a third world country and depending on how well you know him and he's a genuine person, I believe you can help him out once in a while. I do believe that, but nowadays you have to be really careful. So you just got to know that this person is worth helping out once in a while. Maybe once a month. I don't know, once every 2 months, something like that. So the guy starts asking for, money. So she starts helping him. And also, it became regular, because when they were in, where she was when she was in the country he was in, she was having sex with him every day, like all sorts of styles that she mentioned, up and all the works. She was giving him everything, like whichever way you could, whichever way you guys do it, they were doing it. From her description, it was the full 100. And keep in mind, behind all of this, she is becoming, her soul and her spirit is being intertwined with this man, because this is what sex is all about. All right. So she's getting deeper and deeper into him emotionally. So, first of all, eventually the relationship progresses and he asks her for money. He said down the line, after giving him financial support on a regular basis, I guess every month, he says that he wants to build a little house. So she said, okay, build a house. She agreed to it, build a house. And, when I could come and move there with you, stuff like that. So she starts sending the money, I guess, plus on top of his allowance to, to build the house. And he starts building the house. So she starts sending money to build. Because, building a house is a lot of money. I mean, it's cheaper than actually buying a whole house in America, but still, it's a significant amount of money it will take to build a house. So you should, you see how she has come to trust him. So she starts sending money, build a house, build a house. So does he build the house? Actually, yeah, he does. He does start building the house, and he was dead serious. He was building the house, and if you guys hear like a creak in the back, it's this new chair that I got and I'm moving as I'm talking, so it's like creaking, so excuse me. All right, so he's building the house, and eventually she said she sold one of her houses, and she felt she was doing so well. She sold one of her houses. Houses are a lot of money. It's not something that costs $5. It's like hundreds of thousands of dollars for houses. So she sold one of the houses, and I guess she used some of that money, to help also to build the house in the location where the man is. So after a while, eventually, she booked her flight a few months later, because she was, by this time with all the sex she had, her heart went, and of course she's in love with the guy. So she flies back down to be with the guy as soon as possible. Let's say a month or two, maybe three, between a month and 3 months later, she was back down there. And the same thing again, rounds of sex here, there, everywhere. Just, all this hot, heated passion that you're supposed to have in a marriage. She's doing all of this with this man with no covenant, no agreement, just outside of the confines of marriage. It's fornicating away, slowly destroying herself. So keep in mind that when you fornicate, there's an evil spirit involved. He's called the spirit of fornication. So he's plotting your downfall. All right. He is going to come into the situation and somehow destroy you one way or another. All right. So she's there. She sees the house. She likes what she sees. It's progressing. It's coming along. So after all her sex and her heated, lusty vacation for a guy she now loves it, she has no real commitment to, no husband, nothing of the sort. She goes back on the plane and goes back to where she's going. So the house was almost completed. So fast forward, the house is completed. So the guy then says, excuse me, we're over. He tells her on the phone, things are over between us. I don't think this is gonna work. I think she was a little older than the guy too. Maybe by it could have been 10 years, I don't know. So, whatever the case may be, he might have made up a story, you're too old for me, whatever, you're too old, whatever. It's not gonna work. The point is, he did not want this lady. He had a plan all of the along, he's in a third world country, things are hard. Things are hard everywhere, really, but in the third world places, although they're so beautiful, it is still really hard for a lot of people that are in these places. So he hashed a plan. He's a tourist. She likes me. I know she's hooked. I could tell, because sex is one of the ways. Actually, sex is the way to get hooked into self destruction and to destroy your life. I don't even think there's another way that's worse than sex. I know there's drinking and drugs, but this is a drug in itself. So, he's like, I'm sorry, it's over. That's it. And he moves into the house with the mother of his child, not his wife, the mother of his child, and they're all in the house that this poor lady built. Hey, I see a nervous breakdown coming because keep in mind, she said that before this all happened, she was in a relationship that devastated her. Uh, and she took 5 years to, heal herself. But at least she wasn't, self-destructive in other ways. She took that time to build up herself, to work on herself. So, that was a good thing. Some people, after these things happen, could fall into dangerous depression, where they could retaliate against a person that hurt that. It could go all sorts of ways. That's just not good for you. So this guy just dropped her like a hot potato, took the house, closed off communication. She's calling down his phone, no answer. Keep in mind, she used to talk to him every day. Before he got what he wanted, she used to talk to him every day. Um, they were always in communication, and plus, whenever she flew down to see him, they had tons of sex, all sorts of sex, all over the place, wherever, every day. And her soul ties are building up, and her soul and heart and emotions are going, because this is how it works, going with that stuff. So I'm thinking, since this, and then it ends right there. So I'm thinking, since this poor lady has been scarred so deeply by the spirit of fornication before, and she said she was scarred badly, what is this one going to do this time? Because this time, I don't know what she lost in the last one. She didn't say, what she gave, what she did. Part of her soul. This time she lost just not part of her soul, but she lost financially big time. Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to build a house could run you, I guess, I don't know, I'm going on the cheap side. 20,000, this is the cheap side, upwards of 50,000. She totally trusted this guy. She gave him scores of money out of her bank account, and it left her broken and bruised in more ways than one. Her financial thing took a hit, but she still has money. But still, you need all the money you could get, and her heart took a hit. All right, so to wrap this up, what I'm saying here is, women, please guard your heart. The Bible says guard your heart, because out of it flows the well springs of life. What is God saying in this scripture? Be careful of who you let into your heart, into your life. The easiest way for the enemy to come into your life is through sex. This is one of the best doors that Satan uses to come in, to contaminate you, to destroy you. Because keep in mind, emotional pain is one of the hardest pains to deal with. It is also a very hard pain to get over. It hurts so badly. It is horrible. It is terrible. Sometimes a broken leg might feel better. All right, you will feel so humiliated. You will feel so cheap. You will feel so taken advantage of. You will feel so used. You will feel so abused. You will feel just worthless. And your heart is broken behind it. So If she had not slept with this guy, she would have been thinking straight, because fornication has another objective in your life, and that is to cloud your judgment. This is why the Lord says, guard your heart. If you date and you keep sleeping with men you are not married to, your heart is going to be open and you are going to do stupid things like this. All right, this is a smart lady. She made a lot of money for herself. She had her life together, but she did not guard her heart. When you open your legs, you open your heart, because the heart, soul, mind, and emotions are tied to your sex. It is not interchangeable. You cannot separate them. I know people like to say, oh, it's just a sex thing. Really? It was a spiritual thing, and it's highly, highly spiritual. Your sex is attached to your heart. It's attached to your soul. It's attached to your spirit. It's attached to your mind, will, and emotions. It's all together. It's a package that comes together. You cannot separate them. God put them all together. This is why when you have sex out of marriage, you could become so deeply wounded. And this is where the hatred for the opposite sex comes in. All right? So if women are moving in the spirit of fornication, which is designed completely against you to destroy you in every way level, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, socially, turn you into a zombie-like creature for a few years, because depending on the trauma or the blow that you receive from these sexual relationships, you could be in this mental trauma for years to come. It will lead you to hate men. All right, you will just go into relationships and take out all that misery on men. Oh, I hate men. I'm just going to get even. This is where the get even behavior is coming from. You know, this is the way I hate men behavior is coming from. If you people could learn to date without having sex, you will be ahead of the curve. You will be ahead of this thing. Fornication has a head start on you because you're all tuned into fornication. You're all programmed to do it this way. You got to reprogram yourself. Stop sleeping with these men. It is not in your benefit. You are not married to them. Why in heaven's name are you sleeping with them? Quit this stuff now before it completely consumes you. All right, so this is series 1 of Fornication Nightmares. I'll be back with more women's edition. I'm going to do men as well, because this spirit destroys men and women alike. It is gender neutral. All right, so remember, guys, please like, subscribe, and share. It helps the channel to grow. And please leave your comments, because I want to hear what you guys have to say, okay? So thank you so much for tuning in to Jacqueline Marie's Art today. And I will talk to you guys later, okay? Bye.